I'm Jane Urechio, and I'm speaking with Tiffany Loftin, president of the USSA, which is really exciting, and she just gave a presentation about student loan crisis and what we're going to do about student loan interest rates that are supposed to double on July 1st. So what we're really interested in is what you mentioned in there, that you had a meeting it was yesterday, just recently, with the CEO of Sallie Mae. So we were curious about what you discussed and how that went.
Definitely. What we discussed, I don't know how it went because I didn't actually go.
Okay.
I just got back from California, from the Everest Nation, of course. Our vice president and 22 students were able to go to Delaware to have that meeting with the CEO, John. And so what happens is we were fighting for renegotiations for interest rates on Sallie Mae. What we do with the existing $1.1 trillion with students who across the country have student loan debt with all kinds of private and federal loan companies, of course, or the federal government. And it was talking about how do we make their practices fair so that they're not predatory, because right now Sallie Mae is the largest profiteer off of student loan debt. They have high interest rates. They don't have fair wages where people are able to go into income-based repayment automatically when they graduate college. And so we're talking about some of those changes that we should actually encourage them to make, or demand that they make, rather. And I'm not so sure that they responded lightly. So what I heard when they got back, because they actually got back at like 7 p.m. yesterday, and then had went straight home to drop off vans and things, is that they didn't agree to necessarily any of our demands. And so we're going to be following up with the Department of Education. We're following up with all of our students and coming out with press releases later about what happened.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, are you worried at all that it seems to me sometimes when we have these deadlines, everyone gets really amped up right before the deadline, and then afterwards everyone just kind of forgets that it's happened? So have you had that problem before, like mobilizing people afterwards, or do you think it's going to be easier since we're coming up to the new school year that you'll be able to mobilize students to continue to fight?
No, I think that all of our students that we deal with in our membership know that when short-term solutions happen, they're good things. And when they pass, it's an opportunity for us to celebrate victories, because naturally with any campaign that people work on, you want to see small victories, because small victories help you stay alive, they help you stay motivated, they help you continue the fight. But this problem is a lot bigger than just interest rates. It's college affordability, it's making sure that students are able to actually access college, go to college, finish college, and then pay back their student loans afterwards. And so this is a piece of that puzzle, and our students are looking forward to either seeing a short-term solution now, and then celebrating for a little bit, for maybe a couple of hours, and then continuing the fight as we enter our National Student Congress to discuss our agenda items for the year. But we have a lot more work to do, and I think that the good things are we have things to look forward to, like Senator Warren's bill, like Representative Bass's bill, things like the Higher Education Reauthorization Act, a couple of other things. What might happen, though, is this time we might not see students be excited and then burn out, because I don't actually think a solution is going to happen between now and Friday, because today's Wednesday. And so we have 2 days, literally, or 3 days, literally, for this to happen. Because it might be a bad thing, I think we'll see students respond in a lot stronger way, which is good for us. It's not a solution and it's not a victory, but it'll give us a lot of momentum, and it'll educate a lot of people, it'll anger a lot of people, and it'll give us a lot of ground to move.
Okay. Can you talk just a little bit about your own personal story with your student loan debt?
I'd love to.
Because I think it's good for people to hear the actual stories behind it, as opposed to just like big numbers. Sometimes it's nice to hear individual stories about how it affects you day to day and how it affects the people in your family and something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. Nobody's ever asked me that. I usually give my students to do their personal stories, and I'm the person. So I'm from Los Angeles originally, and my mother's a single mother, and she has three kids, and so I'm the oldest. My mom did not know how to fill out a FAFSA. She didn't have a car. She was not able to help me with any sort of student aid, and she wasn't also able to help me or coach me into getting into higher education, because she didn't know what colleges really looked like. What she did know is that she wanted me to stay in California so I can stay, so she can be close to me. That's not what I wanted, but I ended up getting pulled in from a friend who was going to Upward Bound, which is a TRIO program. It helps underrepresented communities and low-income communities and students in high school that are seniors learn how to do their FAFSA. They have a big charter bus for free that takes those students around to community colleges and shows them what the community college looks like, introduces them to their professor for the first time, helps them write their personal statement, so on and so forth. My mom didn't have, not that education, but that time and those resources to be able to do that, because she worked 4 jobs, right? So, and she didn't have a car. And so that program for a week helped me significantly. If it wasn't for that program, I wouldn't have gotten to higher education. I applied to maybe 15 schools, gotten to one UC that I wanted to get into at UC Santa Cruz and some community colleges. I chose to go to University of California, Santa Cruz after a student-initiated outreach program for just black students. So basically, black students at the school found buses for free, found black students that were seniors in high school, took them up to the school for 3 days, showed them what the campus is like, and after that trip, I fell in love with the school. So I said, okay, well, my mom said, I don't know how you're going to do it.
Right.
I don't know how you're going to afford it, but you're going to college and you're going to finish. And I said, all right, cool. The bar said hi for the first girl who's graduating and leaving the house. So I did all of those things successfully. Thankfully, I only took out federal loans from the federal government, not any private loans.
Right.
So I have $28,000 in student loan debt. I think it might be like 29 by now. But it's $29,000 in student loan debt, all from the federal government. They actually last month sold my loans to Great Lakes, so Department of Education, because just to be clear, the federal government doesn't really house the loans. Department of Education does. So Department of Education sold my loans to Great Lakes. So now they're calling me, and now they have my website, and now I have to log into their web. It's crazy. And so I'm making those payments back. But my annual salary, and I don't mind being honest about it, because I tell my students, you know, this is not enough money to get paid in DC. $35,000 a year, $36,000 a year, and my student loan debt is $28,000.
Yeah.
So I can't afford living in DC, traveling and commuting, and all these things that I do to pay back student loans at a higher rate. So it's going to take me a much longer time to do it because my monthly payments are lower. So my younger sister actually is in the Air Force in North Carolina, and my brother is not going to college. So I'm the only one who my mom set this bar for, who went to school, graduated and finished, and now I'm doing the work that my mom wants me to, you know, she doesn't really know what I do completely, but I'm doing good work because I'm in DC and I'm her oldest daughter. But my younger siblings I know won't have that opportunity, and I have dozens of cousins who also probably aren't going to pursue that chance either. So that's my personal story, and I'm paying back my student loans, and Great Lakes called me yesterday, actually, and I ignored their phone call. I don't have time.
That's true. You're busy fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your story. Really appreciate it, and good luck going ahead in the future.
Thank you so much. Sounds